What is up, internet? This is Dark of 80s bringing you the awesomeness of today, tomorrow, and beyond. Before I get started onto this video, I would like to go ahead and mention a few important notes from my previous video. And that is, I did not talk anything bad about the Nintendo Switch. My previous video mainly focuses on the Nintendo's presentation and how the Nintendo Switch presentation sucked. And yes, it did suck. Don't take my word for it, ask anybody else out there, it does suck. I may have said a few things here and there about the Switch, but my main argument in that video was mainly for the Nintendo Switch presentation. Nothing else. Also, for the record, I got a comment from a couple of people actually, saying that I was reviewing Nintendo Switch back then when it was not even out in the market. That was not even a review. If I was to go ahead and review something, I would say Nintendo Switch review. Period. On the contrary, I do love the Nintendo Switch console, and I do plan to getting myself one in the near future. Also, I would like to note that I completely apologize for the poor audio quality from my previous video. As I said in my description, if you read it, is that I'm still learning, and as I learn, I progress, and hopefully this video will do justice. I've been meaning in doing this video for quite a while, mainly because the Nintendo Switch has been out on the market for more than 2 weeks right now. The problem is, while it did get good reception, there is the other half, and that is, it did not get a good reception mainly because there are a lot of people who are over-exaggerating the problems that Nintendo Switch has. This is completely unfair, and these problems, while they do exist, people, and especially the media and the internet, they over-exaggerate it. And that is wrong. That is just completely wrong. People need to understand that when a console, not necessarily a console, even say any device, mobile, washing machine, TV, you name it, in any launch, there will be a problem. There will have to be some sort of quirk here and there, and the Nintendo Switch is no different. I'm pretty sure you have come across this video one way or another when you go on YouTube and you type in Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch problems. You may have come across this video, which is about roughly 8 to 10 minutes long, and it basically shows a bunch of clips all under one video, the problems the Nintendo Switch has.
The buttons. Let's play with the thingies. Oops, I went into the things.
Oh, did you go like way over?
Is this the wrong side?
Is this?
Do we have the wrong sides?
Oh, we do have the wrong. Okay, so it's very evident.
Oh, mine's stuck now.
Oh, mine's stuck too.
Oh, this is like cemented on now. What the fuck? Uh-oh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Shit. Switch is supposed to be doorbells. That is fucking loud.
Absolutely 100% need a screen protector on your Switch. I have already scratched my screen, and it is scratched by the dock.
These problems, as I said earlier, are very common at launch. So it's not fair to say that this video justifies what the Nintendo Switch and people should not go ahead and purchase it. Let me go ahead and mention a few things that you may have forgotten about what happened with the PlayStation 4 launch or the Xbox One launch.
I cannot get the thing to boot. The unit is having a pulsing blue light.
I do get a blue light, and it's pulsating.
It's a clear indication that there's some internal failure that nothing really can be done.
My point being is that when any launch console, no matter what, there will be problems. That is why it doesn't matter if it's Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, they will always have a team ready to go ahead and look at the problems, and if there is a problem with your console, like right off the bat, they will go ahead and basically take it, look into the problem, and if the problem can't be fixed, they will easily replace it to you just like that. And trust me when I say this about Nintendo's customer service, they're good. They're really, really good. And I have a story to share with you guys about my experience with Nintendo's customer service in a future video. But I will just say that don't fret if you have a console that is not working. Just give them a phone call and you're good to go. I have personally gotten a full hands down experience with a Nintendo Switch. And in my experience, I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, it is a great console. It is beautiful. I know it's going to sound silly with what I'm going to say next, is basically a giant Game Boy. No, I apologize. It's a good console. I mean, the only reason I thought of a Game Boy is because of the weight, but hey, it's a Switch. Now, if you're wondering about the screen for the Switch and how big it is, the best way I can go ahead and describe it is similar to the size of the Amazon Kindle Fire. It's very light, it's small, and it really feels good in the hands. You gotta try it. You just have to try it. It's a whole different experience when you're looking at it in video. When you actually try it out, it's a completely different experience. It's a good console, and I like it. And I do, like I said earlier before, I do plan on getting the console in the near future. However, while the Nintendo Switch is a beautiful console, it is not without its quirks. And in order for the console to advance forward, we need to go ahead and acknowledge the problems that currently exist right now, so that in the future, when Nintendo starts to release the secondary revision of the console, it's the same console, it's just that the secondary revision has a couple of fixes, hardware fixes if you will, so it will be much better. Just like with the example I gave you with the Xbox One, it doesn't have the disc scratching or disc grinding, mainly because the secondary revision is a much more quality controlled and they have expected that issue. So we're looking at the same situation happening with the Nintendo Switch. The first problem that I would like to go ahead and talk about is the kickstand. The kickstand on the Nintendo Switch is very flimsy. Also, not to mention the location of it is not in the center, but it is on the left hand side, so it easily does topple over. If the kickstand was to be at least in the center of the console, that would have a better off balance. However, that's not to say that it cannot be balanced on the table to be tabletop mode. It can be. It's just that it is very flimsy, and there will be a time it may fall down, but it's not as heavily exaggerated as 𝐒𝐸𝐻's video. 𝐒𝐸𝐻 have posted a video about the kickstand, and boy oh boy, have they went above and beyond, just exaggerated, thinking of it as it's not doing its job. No, I'm sorry, it actually does the job, it does perfectly, but 𝐒𝐸𝐻 just like to be idiots. Problem number 2, the Joy-Con wrist straps. Now, this is more of Nintendo having to go back to the drawing board, because this is something that they cannot fix right now, but most likely in the upgraded version of the Nintendo Switch. Maybe the Nintendo Switch Slim, who knows. Basically, the problem is this with the Joy-Con wrist strap. It is more of a visual issue, and also at the same time a locking mechanism. When you want to place the Nintendo Joy-Con wrist strap onto the Joy-Con, you need to go ahead and pay attention, like really close attention, to the plus and minus on the wrist strap, not the Joy-Con, on the wrist strap. There is a plus and minus, but they're not clearly visible because they're in black. However, I mean, they are visible. It's just that it would have been nice that they could have colored these guys with at least white, so that people would know where it is positive and where it is negative. The problem is this: if you were to go ahead and hook the Joy-Con wrist strap the wrong way, it will get locked out. In the event, if you happen to have your Joy-Con locked with your Joy-Con wrist strap, there is a way to go ahead and release it. And all it takes, believe it or not, is a screwdriver. That's it. So what you do is, if you have, when it's locked, there will be a teeth that's locked onto the Joy-Con. You basically take your screwdriver and slide that in, pushing the teeth in, and you can go and just slide it out. That's it. That's how you can go and fix that issue. Now I know what you're thinking, man, why do I need to always have a screwdriver with any Nintendo product? Guys, let's be honest. The 3DS, if you want to go ahead and change the battery, we're talking about the original 3DS, the very first launch model, you do need a screwdriver just to go ahead and remove the back plate and install a new battery in case your battery fails. Don't forget that you also do need a screwdriver for your new Nintendo 3DS, just so you can go ahead and put in a micro SD card. So Nintendo, always carry a screwdriver whenever you purchase a Nintendo product. Always have it with you. Problem number 3, the Nintendo Switch dock will scratch your console. Whenever you try to go ahead and dock your console onto the Nintendo Switch docking station, if you don't dock it in properly, you will tend to go ahead and scratch up the screen of your Switch, and that is a very common problem. Now there is a fix that you can do. You can get yourself a screen protector, and it is mandatory to go ahead and get yourself a screen protector for the Nintendo Switch, mainly because the screen, believe it or not, is not made out of glass. It is made out of a hard type of plastic, and for good reasons. The reason why Nintendo chooses the hard plastic is because if the Nintendo Switch was to fall from you, it would not get heavily cracked as much as glass. The exact same thing, or the glass type, can be seen on the PSP Vita. Yes, the PSP Vita has a hard type of plastic on top the OLED of the console. It feels and looks like it's glass, but it is not glass, it is plastic, and if you don't take my word for it, you can go to iFixit.com and look at the disassembly and it will tell you like it's so. Problem number 4. The Nintendo Switch will not allow you to go ahead and back up your save. Now, this can be fixed by Nintendo simply on 2 ways. One, they could easily release an upgrade firmware in which it will allow you to go ahead and back up your save, possibly. Option number 2, which is very, very plausible, is that Nintendo can go ahead and allow you to save your backup via the cloud when they release and start rolling out the Nintendo Network ID service. So that way, imagine this, you get to pay for the service, you get all these benefits. In addition, one of the benefits is for you to go ahead and back up your save via the Nintendo Cloud, because that way, if something was to happen to your Switch console, you'll always be guaranteed that your save backup data is in the clouds, and whenever you have a console replacement, or say your console gets repaired by Nintendo, you can always get that save data back from the clouds and it will be back in your console. And that is a very good move if Nintendo was to do that, because I understand what Nintendo's main intention is, that they want customer satisfaction. But at the same time, I would love to have the ability to back up my own save data through my computer, just like how I do with my Nintendo 3DS. Problem number 5. The left Joy-Con antenna tends to go out of sync, meaning sometimes it syncs with the console, sometimes it doesn't sync with the console. And the problem with this one is mostly about the hardware. The antenna on the left Joy-Con, for some odd reason, doesn't have that good reception in comparison to the right Joy-Con. Nintendo has already put out a press release regarding this issue, and they said that you need to be close range within the Nintendo Switch. You need to make sure that there is no interference between you and the console, such as having a laptop, cables, and whatnot, including a microwave, because that can go ahead and affect the connectivity between you and the Switch. Like I said, it's a hardware issue, mainly because there is a user who goes by the name of Spawnwave. he uploaded a fix, and this is a simple fix that anybody can go ahead and do, and it all requires is some soldering skills and a piece of wire. You basically solder a point onto the board of the left Joy-Con, and the wire itself acts as an extended antenna, and truth be told, it actually does extend the antenna range from a very long distance, and it does a superior job than the right Joy-Con if you were to go ahead and manage to do this fix. But let's just say that you have no soldering skills. You don't even want to take the risk in opening up your Joy-Con. Simply send the console back to Nintendo, telling them that you have this issue, and I can guarantee that Nintendo will be more than happy to go ahead and give you a replacement, or better yet, maybe they can go ahead and add an extended antenna from their side. On their end, they do the soldering, they do the engineering work onto the left Joy-Con, and hopefully it will fix that issue for you. Problem number 6. This goes back to the Nintendo Switch console design. The USB-C port is embedded at the bottom of the Nintendo Switch. This is not a good location, and what could have been a very good location should have been at the top of the Nintendo Switch, mainly because say you're playing tabletop mode with friends and all of a sudden your battery started to drain out, because as we all know, the battery life on the Nintendo Switch is not that great. It's poor. It's between 2 hours to 3 hours, and depends on the game that you play. So with that said, imagine you are out in the party, you are playing 1-2 Switch, and then all of a sudden the battery life of the console starts to drain, and you want to charge it, but at the same time you want to have fun with your friends. You cannot use tabletop mode and charge. The only way to actually charge your console is to give it a little bit of a lift, and then you can go ahead and hook up the USB Type-C at the bottom of the console and then charge. This is another problem, but this is not from Nintendo's side. This is actually from a well-known manufacturer by the name of Dbrand. Dbrand have released their own stickers for the Nintendo Switch, and they look phenomenal. They look gorgeous if you were to go ahead and stick it onto the Switch. They have made stickers for the PlayStation, they made it for the Xbox, and they look phenomenal. They look great. However, they have faced an issue with the Switch, and that is when you stick it onto the console, yes, it does look great, but let's just say when you want to remove the sticker from the console, what happens is that it removes the paint from the Nintendo Switch, and that is not good. Dbrand saw this and immediately, and I love what they did here by the way, they immediately got in contact with all their customers. They refunded all their customers, including they wrote a press release stating the problem one by one. So kudos to Dbrand for doing that. That was an amazing job on how they tackled the issue and they patched it up. And I know that once they actually studied the case and fix the issue, they will go ahead and put out the decals that they promised for everybody for the Nintendo Switch console. This raises a very interesting question, and that is, should you get the Nintendo Switch console right now? Here's how I see it. If you are the type of person that wants to be an early adopter, then by all means get the console. It is beautiful. It's gorgeous. The way I see it is that there are people who wants to get the console mainly because of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And yes, it is a good game. But also you have to understand that that game is also available on the Nintendo Wii U. So, that said, if you have the Nintendo Wii U, get it. It's the exact same game, either on the Wii U or Nintendo Switch. It's just the only difference, you get that portability benefit with the Nintendo Switch. But that all comes down to you, man. Finally, the other reason that I see is that people wanted to get the Nintendo Switch mainly because of the portability feature, and there are a lot of people, especially in this generation, they want to have more portability and they want to now. However, here's how I see it. Personally, now is not a good time to get the Nintendo Switch, mainly because, let's be honest, it does have a few quirks here and there, and they're very random. That's not to say that the quirks are very high, no, because if that was true, then Nintendo would actually issue a full recall. But Nintendo hasn't issued a full recall. So far, everything is good, but there is user feedback, and that's what Nintendo wants. Nintendo wants you to give them feedback about if there is problems with the Nintendo Switch or any problem that you face. Call them, tell them that you're facing this issue. Let them know, because what will happen is this: in the future, there will be revision 2, and revision 2 will have these problems fixed, just like how the PlayStation 4, just like how with the Xbox One, these issues got fixed with the secondary batch, and you don't see those problems anymore. That's pretty much what's going to happen with the Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo is literally monitoring these issues and they're studying it. So it is up to you to go ahead and report the issue to Nintendo customer service. They'll take it down, and they just want the feedback. Also, do not worry regarding your console not being fixed or patched up. As I said to you before, Nintendo has a really good customer service, and I had a great experience with them. They will handle your issue really well. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I do apologize for not posting any videos for quite a while, mainly because I was researching about the Nintendo Switch and the problems, and I had to see it for myself and put it all together nicely for you. So if you do like this video, leave a comment. I'm interested in what you have to say. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe. This is 𝐒𝐨𝐜𝐿 𝐷 signing off, and I'll see you next time.